Hey crafty friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video. Today we are featuring products from Pixi Dust Designs. We're going to use the I'll Always Be Your Friend die set along with the Magic World pattern paper to create a little card. So we're going to start off with our top folding A2 card base and attach a piece of our pattern paper to that. It's cut down at 3 3/4 by 5. So we'll go ahead and add liquid glue to the back of that, and we'll go ahead and attach that down, centering it in our on our card base to get started. So I've got the top part of our owl and the body, and then I've got some other parts and pieces over here we'll add to as well. I'm going to start off with the light brown ink, and I'm going to add just a little shading to our little owl. I just want a little bit of color. We just want to add a little bit of color around him. We'll add a little bit around our little face as well to bring him to life a little bit. And then we also need to add a little to our wings. Layers, there we go. And then I need to add just the subtlest little bit of ink right around the top of his face. Now we're gonna go ahead and layer these parts up. So I'm gonna start by adding his face. We're just gonna layer right over that top of his little head. And then I can layer on his face. And I did cut that from some shimmer cardstock, so it had just a little bit more something to it. Then we will do our little wings. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue. And then I can add each of my little wings over on his little arms. We'll add the other little wing over here. And then I'm going to take and pull this up, and I will set this to the side so that that part can dry a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and fold up our little score lines on our envelope. And I want to add a little bit of color, darker color to that. So I'm just going to brush a little ink on there, just around that edge. I'm going to take our little ink well, the top of it. I'm going to add a little dot of glue behind it, and I'll stack onto our bottle. Need to add a little glue behind our inkwell so that we can have our little feather coming out of the top. We're going to go ahead and add on our little scarf for our little owl. We're going to add that. Just tuck it right underneath his little neck. And then I will take our layer and add liquid glue behind that. And we will add that layer on. And we've got our little piece at the bottom, so we'll layer that. This part of the hat gets layered behind. So I add liquid glue to that, and then I will take and layer that on the back of our little owl. Right in there. And our top layer gets layered on top. And I just realized that goes the other way. So we'll layer our top part of our little hat on. And they should slightly overlap just a little. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in the white of my eyes. We'll just add a little liquid glue. You could do these in a color as well. I'm choosing to do them with the white. And then I have my little black pieces that we will add on. This one's going to go on this side. So just layer that on. We'll grab our other part of our eye for our other eye. Layer that on. Do that, we're going to go ahead and layer on our little feet. So we'll tuck those in. Our other little foot. We'll add that one on. Our little owl is just coming to life. We've got our little beak. So we'll add that. Just right in there. Then we'll go ahead and do our envelope. So we'll do the sides first. You could easily leave this open and tuck something inside if you wanted to. So we'll close that up. Like have a little letter coming out. That would be super cute. Close that. I'm going to add a little liquid glue to that. And I'm going to pick up my wax seal. I'm going to pop that in and hold this together while that dries. I went and grabbed the Autumn Hello Autumn die, Slimline die. I'm going to use this branch because I'm going to add a branch for him to sit on. But before I cut this out, I'm going to pull that die back, that platform back in. And I'm going to add some ink to this cardstock. But I'm just going to take a little bit of ink and I'm going to just randomly add some ink onto here. Because when we cut this out, you're not really going to notice all the other color. Just randomly thrown on there. If that makes sense. Just like that. And we'll cut that out to add to our card while our other little parts are drying. And we also are going to need something to stamp our sentiment on. So I will grab a circle punch and I'll punch out some cardstock for that. There is our tree branch. See how that gives it more texture and life? All right, went and grabbed a 2.5-inch circle of some yellow cardstock. And we will add a little ink to that. So it looks like our little moon is shining. And then I'm going to stamp our sentiment on there as well, which is also part of our die set. Comes with the sentiment. I take my sentiment, pop it on, and then I'll pick that up. I'm going to stamp that in some VersaFine Clair Falling Leaf ink. Get my stamp back in where I had it. There's our sentiment. Take that off. All right, let's pull everything back in. So I'll attach that branch first. So I'm going to add liquid glue. And it's okay that it looks all gnarly and all crazy, because that's just going to add to the spookiness of our little card here. I'm going to move that. I'm going to put this kind of closer to the bottom. I will end up cutting off the excess, and it's okay that it extends past our card. That just adds into it. I'm going to add our little sentiment next. It's going to go over on that side. there in that corner. We're going to end up popping our little owl up on some dimension. But we're also going to add in our other little pieces here. And I think we're going to have the little inkwell sitting on one of the little branches. We are going to add dimension behind that first. So I'm going to pop on foam squares. We can peel these backings off. Pop our little owl down. He's sitting on his little branch. And then we're going to give him his little letter to hold as well. And actually, I'm going to grab a little bit of thinner foam tape to put behind that. So we'll grab that. That way it'll look like it is being held in his little talons. So I'm going to add that right under his little feet like he's holding the letter. And then I'm going to add some highlights. So we'll add a little highlight to his hat. A little brim. And a little highlight right there maybe. Little on our little owl. Our little snow owl. We'll add a little bit of highlighting, letting the pen skip a little on our branch. Then I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to our wax seal so it's a little bit more sparkly. When that dries, it will dry clear. We're also going to add a little bit onto our feather, right down the center. Maybe a little bit on our little inkwell. And I can add a little bit there around our sentiment. Just a nice subtle little embellishment. I'm going to tap it onto my desk to flatten out that glitter. Then I'm going to take my long handle scissors. I'll open this up. I can flip it over, trim off that excess overhanging. All right, my friends, here is a closer look at our little Owl Always Be Your Friend card. Here is a closer look at our card. If you need any of the products, you will find them all linked and listed in the video description below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.